morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Faith Family Focus. I am your co-host, Faith Suggs, former Duke Women's basketball graduate and current CEO and founder of Brand by Faith, a social media branding company dedicating telling the stories. What are you doing? What is wrong with you? I can't even focus
Big,
on.
good one, big game yesterday.
Okay, focusing. And then my other co-host is Schaefer Suggs, and a former NFL player with the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals, and has also served on the RPFPC, VP, and executive board. Good morning, Dad. How are you?
Good morning. Happy that Duke pulled it out. I was concerned for about 2 minutes. Looked like it was falling apart. Coach K said it looked like it was coming apart, man. I don't know
It
how.
always looks like it's coming apart against Michigan State, and then it never does. That's something we've learned. We've lost to them, 3 times?
I know, right?
But that's always, Michigan State's always super hard. And I said that's a game. I said this last night. I said that is a game that goes down to coaching, because those coaches have played each other more times than those kids have played each other.
Yeah.
So it goes down to coaching. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm just making sure everyone's tuned in. I'm sharing the show on our Facebook. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Send it to your page too. Let me do that. Schaefer Sucks.
Exciting.
What's new? What
exciting? All I want to do is talk about basketball.
But we have to go over the fact that today is the first day of spring.
Today is the first day of spring.
Yesterday was. Sorry.
Yesterday, and
yesterday was the first day of spring.
And it feels like the first day of spring too. So
it was 67 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Yeah. What is okay, so let me make sure I pop this one up too. Okay, there we go. What's new, since you don't want to talk about anything but basketball? But you did see that Deshaun Watson got traded finally.
Did he go to Cleveland?
Yes.
I thought that'd be a good place for him to end up. I
hope it's not risky on Cleveland's part. I hope it works.
Well, it's always a risk when you have someone that has a pass like that. So current pass and
20 charges to dispute.
Well,
good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Let's just pray that he's out in front of it, and that part of his life is behind him. I know that there's still something he has to deal with, but hopefully he can move forward. So,
we may have disagreements on it, and we don't have to talk about it, but moving forward might be him going to prison or paying a lot of money.
Not going to prison, but probably paying a lot of money, probably.
Well, he should go to prison for that type of stuff if he did it. I'm saying if he did it, and if someone does that, man or woman, they should go to prison. We all agree with that. But it's very interesting. I'm just saying it's dragged out too long. And originally, I remember we first spoke on this, maybe early last year. We were talking about how it was the Texans that were implementing all of this. If this continues through Cleveland, we'll know for sure that it was the Texans implementing it. But not the Texans implementing it. But if it stops in Cleveland, if he's cleared, if everything kind of goes smoothly, I would say the Texans were very much heavily involved with this, and there was some stuff we didn't know going on. But once again, the truth always comes to the light. We let O.J. Simpson free. So what do we know as a country about supporting football players in political gain? But yes, he went to Cleveland. And then here's my question about it, Cleveland. Are you going to win next year? What's the plan here? Is Baker, I don't know what the trade was or what that was, but you need more than Deshaun Watson. Do you think they were the only team that wanted to jump in the pot with him?
There's multiple teams wanted to trade, but like anything else, you got to have the people around you to support it. I mean, Cleveland struggles with supporting a cast. That's a prerequisite for any successful football team. It's a supporting cast, and those are the reasons that Tom Brady. Those are the reasons that Aaron from the Packers. Those are the things they complain about. They want to make sure that they have the pieces. The fact they let their number one receiver get out of Green Bay, I don't know why, but we have the draft coming up in another month, so you'll be able to see a lot of stuff come together. I'm sure that Cleveland are working in the background trying to get the right pieces. He's good. He's a good quarterback. Simple as that. He's a franchise quarterback, and hopefully he can make some things happen. They clearly needed to move away from Baker Mayfield, so that
Which
was
is sad, but
well, yeah, he's he's very charismatic, and he's very colorful, but he didn't win. So you have to win.
well, there's a lot of
What
people
was
out there
that?
not winning. But I will say this: I agree completely with you. It's so unfortunate, and I each year the NBA changes a whole landscape on what it looks like, and the NFL is now starting to follow that as well. Like Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah, we're more seeing and we say this every time, but players are making decisions for themselves. They're moving around. They're taking less money. They're taking more money. They're advocating. They're sitting out. It's just, it's different than what we're used to seeing. So one thing that we haven't been able to speak about is Mr. Tom Brady. Me and you have spoke on it, but we have not been able to discuss his return to the NFL. What are your initial thoughts with, was it 6-time Super Bowl champion, considered the GOAT of NFL football and the greatest quarterback of all time? What is your thoughts on him returning to the NFL for another season?
You and I talked offline about it, and I think it's hard when you're playing. You're still at the top of your game to let it go. And I think what happens is it everybody around him will miss it. You say he wanted more quality time with his family. Well, that was quality time with his family. His family were that's what that's who they were. They enjoyed that, and the fact that his kids are old enough to watch it, and the fact that he's still one of the top 1 or 2 quarterbacks of all time, and he can still play, he can still win a Super Bowl. Hey, more power to him. He had every right to change his mind. Michael Jordan changed his mind. So
that's a whole different dynamic. And I said that when we spoke on it. Michael Jordan decided to play a whole different sport. But you know what? After watching the Last Dance documentary, it made me realize how much media influenced his movement to leaving basketball, starting a new sport after his father's death. All of that stuff happened, right? So it wasn't surprising. Tom Brady just can't stop playing football.
Right. That's okay. As a former athlete, we talked about that in our show on our PFPC, that we behind the face mask. We talked about the transition. It is so hard. I think Marcus Sullivan said, I'm never ready. I'm still ready to play. Yeah. I still have not let it go.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it is really hard to make that go. If I had one opportunity to go make one more play, I would do it. I'd probably be in a wheelchair afterwards, but I would do it. It's that whole camaraderie, the team, the locker room. I mean, I know it's completely different than when I played, but just the whole environment of it,
100%. It's very much it's also like, what do you do all day now? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you normally have a schedule, you wake up.
Yeah.
You go to the gym twice, you have film, come home, hang out with your family. Probably not. If you're Tom Brady, probably taking a healthy nap. So it's one of those things.
Very structured environment. It's I tell you, I really, the first couple of years, of course, I thought I was going to continue to play, but the reality, I wasn't playing, and the time I wasn't playing, I was still trying to figure out how to play.
Right.
And that's the majority of us, man.
Mm-hmm.
No one says, sit you down and here's your transitional books.
Yeah.
Right?
No, completely agree. There is no ebook for this.
Right, exactly. So more power to him. I'm happy. I love watching him play. I'm not going to judge his decision. That's his decision.
Right.
And there's not very many people that are, the only ones that are disappointed he's coming back are the guys in the teams in his division.
Like Mr. Aaron Rodgers, who decided to stay his butt in Green Bay.
Right.
And now it's probably like, I should have not stayed my butt in Green Bay. How about Russell Wilson, who's now in Denver?
Right.
That's a big move.
Yes.
It's an interesting move. No matter how amazing Russell Wilson is as a quarterback, and he will go down as one of the top quarterbacks ever, right? We can't help but say that. And some of the great teams, when we talk about those Seahawks teams, sorry, he could still get traded. It's you see these organizations, no matter what, they'll turn a page.
Yeah, but see, when you even at the highest level, Faith, the highest talent at the highest tier, with free agency and money involved, every player will probably consider a move to benefit them. Right? He wanted out of Seattle, okay, but he wanted the best scenario for him. He wanted to go into an environment that he can continue to be successful. And Denver was that place. You know, I mean, he's a franchise quarterback.
100%. 100%. There's no question in that.
Right.
No question of that at all.
Yeah, quarterbacks today. I mean, look at the kid that came from Stratford, who came from Detroit Lions, played there all of his career, never won a game. Excuse me, and then finally won a Super Bowl. Right?
Changed his career. Yep.
Right.
Completely agree.
It's a different time than it was when I played. It's a different time than it was 20 years ago. I mean,
yeah, and there's that understanding that now these guys are making so much money that it's like us uprooting you guys and switching you to another city to change isn't blasphemy as it once was, right? Originally was.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. You know what I mean? Like Russell Wilson said, oh, okay, let me call my agent. My agent put me in contact with the real estate agent here, and I hopped up.
That's simple. Yeah.
And you know, obviously, you still have ties to. Obviously, they have ownership in this with Seattle soccer and all of that. But it's just, you know, what you see a lot of NFL teams do. Patrick Mahomes and his wife own partnership in one of the women's soccer teams in Kansas City. So that, you know, these players put the roots down financially, investment wise, and of course for their family. But when they say you got to go, you got to go. And sometimes you got to go.
Right.
Which is a nice transition into kind of all that's happening right now in college sports, when we saw so much movement happen this year, not just in the NCAA football side from Notre Dame to, you know what I mean? It's something we are growing used to. But now men's basketball is starting to rotate and start that process and start to rehire and hire and it's a different world, right? Because here's the thing, the reason why people probably are like, why are so many jobs opening up now? COVID year gave head coaches an opportunity to stay a year longer because that year was so crazy, but also because after COVID, everyone still wanted to kind of a taste of regular basketball, regular sports, people in arenas, people in seats, right? Full healthy players, not worrying about, you know, mask testing, mandates, all the stuff that was super stressful for the year of 2020 for college sports. So now we're coming up on the first year post a healthy, it's not healthy, but a healthy people in seats year. So now coaches are up to the chopping block, whether they're deciding to jump ship early and get a better job, whether the school is forcing them resignation, whether they're fired, whether they're, you know what I mean? It's just all together a whole bunch of movement going on.
Right. Before you go there, I know we have like 3 shows.
We can talk about the Sweet. We can talk about NCAA.
No,
let's make a note that we were going to talk about that.
Let's do something really quick. Do you have the list, my Final Four and your Final Four, and see who's still standing?
Excuse me. Let me exit real quick.
Okay. So everybody's bracket has busted. Everybody's bracket is busted. Everybody that I know bracket was busted. Everybody thought Kentucky was to be there. Okay, so let's touch and see what I had.
So I want to because after we hopped up the call last Monday, I wrote my bracket down, and when I really saw it, I adjusted it. So my predicted Final Four was Villanova, Gonzaga, Baylor, Kansas.
Okay.
Obviously.
So you got 2 left.
So my Sweet 16 is correct with Gonzaga, Duke, Kansas, Arizona, Villanova, right?
What did I have?
I got notes all around me, but I'm not notes.
Don't worry about it if you can't find it. I know I had Duke.
You probably did have Duke.
I had Gonzaga. I think I might have had Kentucky though. Hold on.
I had Kentucky in my Sweet 16. For the women's side, I had I'm pretty much
done.
Good on my women's side, besides Baylor.
Yeah, I get ready to say. I know you had Baylor. Okay. Well, if you don't see mine, that's okay. What else?
Yeah, but so obviously there's no perfect brackets left, and I believe that there are only 3 perfect brackets left on the women's side, but I don't know if that's updated since last evening's games. So
Auburn is gone.
Auburn's gone, which isn't surprising.
Yeah.
Isn't surprising at all. Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Big 12 team.
Well, Big 12 is just, I would say clearly, Big 12 and ACC are clearly the 2 dominant conferences based on the results so far.
Right, but that's what we've seen that historically.
Right.
Same on the women's side. Well, women are kind of wide open this year. You got teams flying there like UNLV, who lost obviously to Arizona, but they gave them a test. You have Creighton, who just upset Iowa, and Caitlin Clark, who many thought would be a good contender for Player of the Year. The other contender, Aaliyah Boston with South Carolina, they are still in it. But if you guys have not heard this story, the young lady at Creighton, if you didn't watch the game, go try to find the highlights on YouTube or online. And the game came down to Creighton was down 3 or down 2. And the young lady who transferred from Iowa that year, right, to play at Creighton so she could get more opportunities, she had 19 points. Her career high and the most points she ever scored in her Iowa career were 20. She went out and played Iowa.
Total of 20?
Total of 20 points.
Okay.
She went out and played in Iowa in front of 15,000 people against her former teammates, old coach who didn't give her opportunities, which I'm sure is not bad blood, but I'm gonna amp it up like a story. And she went out and had 19 points, had the game winner 3, I believe, at 30 seconds or 40 seconds or no, 10 seconds left. Hit the 3. Caitlin Clark let him come down. Caitlin Clark does not get fouled. She flopped. And Iowa had 2 looks to put the ball in the basket. Layup, bunnies, missed it. Creighton wins. Cinderella story in terms of, I don't know how they do it, but these commentators find a way to learn all the juicy information and the connections every year for these games. And it's just, that is one of my favorites.
Yeah, right. So you got Sweet 16. You got Michigan, Villanova. Okay, now just really quick. Arkansas, Gonzaga. Who do you have?
Arkansas, Gonzaga. Arkansas is really good.
Okay, who do you have?
Arkansas is really good. They keep calling Gonzaga the fastest team in college basketball. They are not the fastest team in college basketball. They are the fastest offense and passing team in college basketball. I want to make sure that's known.
I think you got it.
I think Purdue and I think Arkansas is pretty oh, no, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? Kansas is the fastest team in college basketball.
You got who are you going to take? Arkansas, Gonzaga.
That's why
talking you. Okay, let's move on.
No. Arkansas, Gonzaga. I'm going to go with Gonzaga. And I only say that because Drew Timme is playing in a space right now that is unbelievable.
Okay. So you got Gonzaga. Michigan, Villanova.
Villanova.
Do Michigan have a chance?
I don't think so.
Villanova is probably one of the most fundamentally.
He's a great coach. He's the next one.
Yeah.
He's the next one.
Right.
Villanova.
Right. This is a good one. Texas Tech and Duke.
Texas Tech is the best defending team in the NCAA tournament and the NCAA this year. If you have watched their team and their coaching style, you know that's how they play. The one thing they don't have, an it guy or multiple it guys. What does Duke have? All it guys.
Right.
So I'm going to go with Duke.
Okay.
If Duke can take care of the ball and value possessions.
They got to defend. They got to defend too.
They gotta defend, but also Texas Tech is they will spook you, right? Like they'll do that. They're good. They throw different sets at you every freaking possession.
Okay.
It's so impressive.
Okay, so I did Houston, Arizona.
Houston, I'm rooting for Houston.
Yeah, Houston is. I'm gonna go
The
Houston.
black horse. They are.
Yeah. Okay, St. Peter's, Purdue.
I want to root for St. Peter's so bad. They're so fun.
Their defense is tenacious.
Purdue.
Oh,
I hate it. I hate it so much. But like,
okay. You think they're right? But they beat Kentucky.
yeah, but I think Purdue would have beat Kentucky.
Okay.
Kentucky was
Purdue,
way younger.
Purdue got beat by Iowa.
Right, and what I tell you, I was gonna lose because
Okay.
What I tell you about that?
Providence, Kansas.
Kansas.
North Carolina, UCLA.
I hate this also so much because what the heck, North Carolina.
UCLA is tough. Okay.
Yeah, they're tough, but
Iowa State.
Right now.
Okay, Iowa State, Miami. This is a blood. This is gonna be a.
Honestly. Yeah, see, everyone's saying North Carolina. I agree. North Carolina is playing the best basketball they have ever played all season. They started off terrible, but they're playing great basketball. Iowa State, Big 12 team. I'm gonna go with Iowa State. Why? Because one, you guys understand they are the last in the Big 12 this year. They won 2 games the year before.
Yeah.
You don't just do that. You know what I mean? Like something, just like how North Carolina, they're hopping on like that ultralight beam, that positivity train right now. So I'm scared of teams that do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People come off strong wins, close wins, things they're proud of. Yeah. Okay. But I want Duke to win against Texas Tech really bad. That's just one I would have to watch. And Houston, Arizona, which I did have. Correct. I had Houston, Arizona. That's the only. No, I had Houston, Arizona, correct. Kansas, Providence, correct. That's it. That is it.
What is the most probable upset? Right now, there's no upsets anymore, is it? This is like straight up, right? I mean, there's.
No. If St. Peter's beats Purdue, that is an upset. It's St. Peter's. I don't think people understand who and what St. Peter's is. We played them at LIU. They're the Peacocks. But that was my first. We played them at LIU. St. Peter's is that level. So if they win that game, that's an upset. If Houston beats Arizona, that's an upset that I was not surprised by.
Okay. Good. Right. So now on the women's side, we're still working on the Sweet 16, right?
Right. And North Carolina and Arizona play tonight. That's a big game. And then Ohio State, LSU play this evening. That's another big game. So, yeah. So right now, the matchups we have in the Sweet 16 look like Stanford, Maryland. Wow. Texas is awaiting the winner of Ohio State and LSU. We've got Iowa State and Creighton. And South Carolina is waiting on the winner of North Carolina and Arizona. So,
cool.
Another great team. So, of course, South Carolina and Stanford, that's going to be interesting. I think that might be our national championship.
Yeah.
I think it might be our national championship. And
Baylor's out. How about Tennessee?
What about them?
The girls, the Tennessee's, they're pretty strong too.
Yeah, let me keep going. Louisville's waiting. Belmont and Tennessee. Tennessee will be Belmont, even though Belmont's a great women's basketball program.
We might have another derby over there.
I know, they always do. South Dakota's waiting on Villanova and Michigan. South Dakota upsets Baylor. And tonight, I'm tuned in to UCF UConn.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
That's going to be a good game. People don't realize how many times UConn has had to battle with UCF. They have no idea. But yeah, so Tennessee's in there, I know, but I'm sorry. Stanford, South Carolina are on a different level. I think Arizona's not producing the way they did last season. They just aren't. They had a tough one to grind it out with UNLV yesterday. So we'll see. Or the other day. We'll see. Very interesting, but I still think Stanford's going to win that, even though everyone wants South Carolina to win. So leave Leah Boss to get Player of the Year. But yeah, that's our brackets. I mean, what's the point?
Right.
What's the point? Toss it in the garbage. Now we just have to reset and try again. But I will say I'm still sticking with if Duke makes it to the national championship game, I want Duke to win. But Kansas is so fast. People aren't realizing how fast they are.
Well, I watch him at a game where they should have gotten beat. The only game I got a chance to watch Kansas State, there's no reason the Kansas State should have lost that game. So they are beatable.
Very beatable.
Right? Okay.
But
you know what?
Time is a different season.
It gets back to who's playing the best basketball by the end of the season, right?
Yep, it's in March. Doesn't matter.
Right.
St. Peter's coach said it the best. All you gotta do is play one game at a time.
Right.
One time. You only have to see this team one time, and then you can play the next person.
Right. Well, let's what inspired this show. Obviously, this is an exciting time of the year. I mean, this is probably I can't remember more exciting basketball. It's been a while, but it's also exciting to see the coaches that are being coached. The number of black coaches that are playing. The new St. Peter's coach. It's just phenomenal that you see a coach that's coaching that well and you never heard about him. And just want to kind of talk briefly about some coaches on the women's side and on the men's side, and then let's talk about some of the coaches changes. But so on the men's side, let's talk a little bit about the coaches that are still in the tournament. Let's talk about some of the coaches that are still impacting the sport that are black. And you see a shift in this, Faith? Do you see a shift in opportunity? Do you see it, Faith?
Yes, first of all.
Whenever you say, folks, whenever she said first of all, that means it's gonna be some.
Well, it just makes sense, right? That a person who grows up where these kids grow up will know how to correctly motivate them in this generation. It just is.
That's a good point.
Positive and a positive, right? The St. Peter's coach said it best. They asked him, "Were your kids afraid? Were they scared?" He said, "Well, we have a bunch of kids from New York and New Jersey. He's from Queens." He said, "They're not scared of anything."
He said, "What they go through in practice is what they go through in practice is way harder than what they deal with in the game." That reminds me of Coach you had.
Yeah, and he made to the Sweet 16. But you know what? He's fun to watch. He knows what he's doing. People are commenting on back and forth. He's a well-known coach in the Northeast area. No question, if you really know basketball. After this season, if he doesn't want to stay at St. Peter's, which I wouldn't blame him, he could be the next coach at anywhere. Seton Hall.
Do you think he can coach players like that anywhere? You think he can take his coaching style anywhere and coach? Because he has a choice now.
He can do whatever he wants. The question is, will you be successful doing that, right? So Dawn Staley on the women's side of South Carolina cannot recruit the same women she would recruit to Stanford or UConn. I'm not UConn. UConn's not academically there. Duke, Vanderbilt, you know what I mean? Rice, those type of schools, Ivies. No, right? He goes for the grit, blue collar, hardworking, confident, New York style player, right? The kid with the mustache embodies that, right? He looks like he's from Staten Island. I don't know if he is, but he looks like it, right? So they all have this culture flowing through them. Can he bring these kids to a Miami? I don't know. Can he bring the Seton Hall? Yes. Obviously, he can't bring those kids with him. They're not good enough to go to Seton Hall. even though they, like he said, they think they are. But his culture can go to certain places and be successful. His culture can go to certain places and not be successful. That's just the truth of the pudding. You know what I mean? Like,
but isn't that true with any coach? Can Krzyzewski,
any coach? Krzyzewski, that's what Krzyzewski said a long time ago, and people were so offended by it. He said this way back when he first started at Duke. He said, I recruit a certain type of kids at Duke because I have to recruit a certain kind of kids at Duke. I can't just recruit everybody to Duke. And people, of course, thought that was a form of saying, basically, I'm only recruiting white kids to Duke. And at that time, that basically kind of what it was. Even though that wasn't his mission behind it, Duke only saw that as an equitable game, right? In comparison to now, Grant Hill pops up, right? Sheldon Williams pops up. Bop, 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 bop. Now we're on to Brandon Ingram. It's a hold on lost train. But Duke had to be very conscious in the beginning of who they recruited, just like how Stanford, very conscious of who they recruit, right? Because at the end of the day, you're investing $79,000 into these individuals, $80,000 into these individuals, 18 to 22-year-olds. You still can get kicked out of school there, right? So the culture of how you do things depends on the school that you're coaching at, right? And when you're interviewing for these jobs, you don't want to just coach somewhere. And this is a big thing that we have seen across the board with coaching. Some coaches get lost in the big money, the big lights. Coaching in a place like Texas, they have their own network. That's a lot of money. You coach at Texas, you're set, right? But you have to make sure you win and go to the tournament every single year. Right. And if you don't do it right, if you don't hire the right people on your staff, if you don't communicate with the alumni, if you don't help with the boosters, if you're not doing all of that, you will not be successful at Texas. And when you're not successful at Texas, right, a Kansas, a Kentucky, a South Carolina, you know what I'm talking about? USC, UCLA, the big boys. You're going to have a really rough, and I'll give you 2 years, and they'll say, all right, come on in. Where do you see the direction of this program going? We don't see you in it. That's how quick that can happen. You know what I mean? So you go, as a coach, you should go somewhere that you will become successful and win, right? With your style of coaching. Your style of coaching should be consistent, just like your brand, right? Who you are. So I think the St. Peter's coach, he can definitely go up, but I think it's going to have to be somewhere in New York, like a Seton Hall. Big jump for him and big move because Seton Hall is great, right? They always have the same style of kids, just taller, right? Just taller, stronger, in a more competitive league. So, yeah, I hope so. You could go to UConn if you really wanted to, if UConn was open, even though it's not. You know what I mean? That's the kind of the direction that I see his career could be. Because he's fun to watch. His kids play hard. I mean, it's just evident that he has that itch. It's just, waiting to see how all these jobs are opening up and stuff along those lines. So,
can Juwan Howard coach anywhere other than Michigan?
Well, why would he want to? Is my question.
But that's my question. I mean, good
right.
coach.
So that's my thing is because you can develop and evolve within an organization. Okay. Juwan Howard, if I was him, I would try to stay in Michigan as long as I could.
Okay.
And Michigan's just gonna have to keep paying me more and more and more because he gets paid. I don't know if you guys realize how much Juwan Howard gets paid to coach Michigan.
Right. No, he gets paid a lot of money. Right.
But like I said, it's not about the money. It's not about the opportunity. It's about what makes sense for who you are. Because think about it. What sells tickets is the athlete, but what sells donations, your career, your next step, you want to make sure you're basically the perfect fit for those universities.
So when you say perfect fit, when we talk about Black coaches, are there some programs, no matter what, that will still have a struggle with that because they
No. I think we're past that.
We were past that? I mean, can you look back? Yeah, good.
Will Iowa ever have a Black coach? I have no idea. Because that one is Iowa has always been strange to the basketball community. Iowa has one of the strongest fan bases for basketball. Iowa State, Iowa, it doesn't matter. They go hard for basketball, right? Because there's no professional sports.
And football.
They always have. If people don't know, Vivian Stringer used to coach at Iowa.
Yeah, I know.
Like Jolette Law, who's at South Carolina, was at South Tennessee. She was at Iowa after Vivian Stringer, right? So there's black, boom. They're winning. They still 15,000. They had 15,000 people at their game yesterday.
Right.
So I don't think there's any program in America, because we're watching schools like Harvard,
Yale has a black coach,
right? So it doesn't matter. Can you recruit?
Can you recruit?
Is it, you know what I mean? And right now, the demographics and who these young men are and young women are, they're leaning towards the Dawn Staley, the Adia Barnes, the that style of coaching. Kentucky, when Calipari steps down, likely will have a black coach. Penny Hardaway's at Memphis. Do I think that Penny Hardaway is ready for Memphis? I don't want to tear down my guy, but I think Penny Hardaway is struggling. But I think that he's doing the best he can, and I think that's one of those situations. We're looking at Juwan Howard. I want you to look at this. Juwan Howard at Michigan, his alma mater, and then Penny Hardaway at Memphis, his alma mater. Juwan Howard looks more prepared to be at Michigan than Penny looks like to be at Memphis. And I think that that's just because Penny's still new to coaching, and he's still new to, just like his kids are new, he's new to it, right? Even though he has legendary Larry Brown on his bench, all that stuff, right? I still think that Penny still has some way to go. But Memphis is a black coach. Miami one day will probably have a black coach. Houston has a black coach. Tennessee one day, and we haven't seen it yet, but one day, right? The Pac-12 is interesting. Pac-12 is interesting. Arizona women.
Yeah.
The USC used to have black women, but
I
don't think there's limitations anymore. It's not. That's not it, because originally the limitation was more along the lines of are black coaches ready for this position? That's always been the narrative, right? But now we're seeing more and more become successful. Now it's kind of along the lines of, now we're like, how much are you paying them? Are you paying them outright equally, right? And so, but it just makes sense. This younger generation is leaning towards the fun player coach style. They just are, and that's in.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, fans want to win. Mm-hmm. They want to win. I mean, you have Coach Ivy from Notre Dame.
Yep.
You have Joni Taylor from Georgia. You know, these are big time programs. I was impressed by the coach from Buffalo.
The SEC has 3 black women coaches. We got Buffalo, the coach at Buffalo, Felicia Jack. She's probably going to Syracuse. She's going to grab Syracuse. So, right. I mean, Kara Lawson's in the ACC. Ivy's in the ACC. She will be in the ACC. And there's that. I'm thinking about other movements that could happen within the ACC. I don't think there will be any more. But that's, as you look at it, I mean, there are no limitations anymore. It's more along the lines of who wants to win, how do you want to win, and does this coach make you cool? Is this coach sellable, right? Is this going to sell tickets? Are they going to bring kids in that want to come here? Can we invest a lot of money in them? Because it's going to be exactly what everybody wants to be Kentucky. How Calipari created Kentucky, everyone wants to do that. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. He made college sports cool. He made it fun. He made it a professional style organization. So that is what kind of the dream is now in the hiring process. Who is going to sell tickets? Who's going to be the fun, flair, loud, joking? Chris Beard, Texas, perfect fit.
Do you think that the now existence of NIL and portal is impacting a different mindset, a different breed of coaches?
Yeah. Assistant coaches for sure. Mm-hmm. Assistant coaches are the ones that recruit the most, right? Mm-hmm. It all changes the game in general. That's why you have to be the most cool university of them all, right? Because if you're not, why should someone come there, right? Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Good morning, Dallas.
But yeah, it's it. So that's why all these coaching changes and all of that is just crazy, because all these schools are trying to find their next Calipari. They want to get to the tournament. Right? You look at St. Peter, they're looking, St. Peter's hit gold. St. Peter's can't hold on to that guy for another year. No way. He's got to take this chance. He has to take this Sweet 16 run to Seton Hall. There's no way.
Right. He's got yeah.
So it's a business.
Well, you beat Kentucky, Faith.
You beat Kentucky. beat Kentucky. He got St. Peter's. People, if you ask every person in America, not a lot of people know where St. Peter's is. Unless you have lived on the Northeast, right? Not a lot of people know where St. Peter's University is. So, yeah, he's out. He's off to the races. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's gonna make millions and millions of dollars next year. God bless him. You know what I mean? That's the business of it all, right? You win. You recruit kids to help you win. The kids you take the kids to Sweet 16, the kids are happy, right? All those kids could find a way to the next place, right? Transfer portal, opening up opportunities for them too. So it's just one of those things. Like if you ever been on a big project at work, right? I mean, you being part of that project, you being part of that deal, that promotes your next position. That promotes your next job jump, right? That's what it is. Basketball is no different. So let's talk a little bit about these coaching changes, though, while we're at it.
I was going to say, what coaching changes, what positions are open?
Okay, so
I can listen.
Let me take you through it. Mississippi State opened up after they lost in the SEC tournament, in the NIT. Sorry, they lost the first game in the NIT or something like that, second game. Oklahoma? They lost to Oklahoma. Fire Mississippi State coach. New Mexico State was in the NCAA tournament. People saw them. They were from the first round, and they were awesome in the second round, but lost. The coach for New Mexico State is going to Mississippi State. Sean Miller. People know Sean Miller. He used to coach at Arizona. He was doing a lot of illegal practices. He headlined that Adidas scandal back in the day. Sean Miller I don't know what happened to Arizona, to be honest with you. That was a quiet dismissal. He is now the head coach at Xavier. So.
Yeah, Donald. That's Donald's coach. Yes, took our coach.
No, New Mexico State.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the number on the paper was big. Had to be. He had a great run. That's a big jump for him. To the SEC, that's huge. That's huge. He added 2 rooms and 2 bathrooms. He added 2 rooms and 2 bathrooms, Dad. He added 2 rooms and 2 bathrooms at his home in Mississippi. Okay, so let me show you faces. You guys have it. So here we have Sean Miller. Looking at me, just Sean Miller. He is going to Xavier. New Mexico State is going to Mississippi State. Cleveland State is finally getting a deal with Mizzou. Let's also discuss Todd Golden was at San Francisco. He's going to Florida.
Wow. Okay.
Frank Martin's out at South Carolina.
Back up, Faith. Go back up 2 more. 1 more. This kid, I remember him.
Guy.
Yes.
He's at Cleveland State. He's finally gets a deal to go fill in Mizzou.
For Mizzou. Oh, wow. So that's the SEC.
Will have their second black coach in a row.
And SEC, so that's a black coach in the SEC. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But they already had a black coach. He just wasn't winning. Frank Martin is out at South Carolina.
He is out?
He's out. They fired him.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Which isn't surprising because he wasn't winning. We got to stop.
That job is open. That job is open. It has
South Carolina is open. The coach at San Francisco, remember we watched San Francisco. It was a young man whose family was over in Ukraine. We saw their little Cinderella story in the March Madness. Their coach, boom, Todd Golden. He is now the head coach at Florida.
He doesn't look that old either.
Nope, he's young. He's 36, which is hilarious considering. And this is trending. We'll probably find out throughout the day. We cannot finalize this, but Jerome Tang, 21-year assistant coach at Baylor, is likely going to become the head coach at Kansas State. So movement. Look here. This one is a perfect example, right? You get your team to the NCAA tournament and immediately head coaching job at Florida, SEC.
Okay, so what jobs are still open, Faye?
South Carolina. I believe Maryland is still open, but I think they hired Louisville. They filled with Kenny Payne.
Ball State.
Kenny Payne. No one wants Ball State. They keep good. I know about that, but no one wants it. And can you blame them? No, seriously, can you blame? Muncie, Indiana is worse than Manhattan, Kansas. Not worse. It's just smaller. No, and that's serious because what sells now? Recruiting.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you've never won at a place like that, it's hard to get people to come and buy into, well, let's put it on the map, right?
Well, that's the first thing your brother, when we went down there to offer him, he goes, "That other than Ball State, what else is there?" I said, "It's just Ball State. There's nothing."
And it better be good. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Kansas State, they got Michael Beasley to come out here. And if you know who Michael Beasley is, he's one of the greatest NBA players who wasn't, he was the first round, he was the first pick. He was the second pick. He was like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's the idea of,
look at Lisa.
You gotta sell. You gotta sell. And that's why coaching is so hard, man. It is so hard. I'm opening NCAA basketball. But yeah, Frank Martin is out at South Carolina. That one wasn't surprising. I think we all kind of saw that one coming. Let's see what the ESPN has to say. So Louisville's been filled. LSU still is open, I believe.
Men's side?
LSU's open. Mulkey's there. Mike White took Georgia. So the coach at Florida, who was my AD's son, Kevin White, Mike White's son, now took Georgia.
Okay.
Which isn't surprising. He probably got paid a lot of money.
What Big Ten? Is there any Big Ten coaching opportunities open? Big Ten is pretty stable. Okay.
Big Ten's pretty stable. UMass is open. Milwaukee is open. George Washington is open. East Carolina is open. I know Florida Gulf Coast was open, but I believe that has been filled. They just haven't announced it yet. South Dakota, Western Michigan, Alabama State. Yep. Previous coach at Alabama State. I don't know if you guys know, but Mo Williams, who played with the Cavaliers, he was the previous coach. So now he's going to Jackson State.
He's going to Jackson. So he's staying in the slack.
He's staying in the slack, which is smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Louisville has been filled by Kenny Payne. Nebraska Omaha was filled, and Rhode Island was filled by Archie Miller. So, and this is only the beginning. I feel like we will see 6 more positions open and musical chairs. I do. And there's some coaches waiting in the wings, right? We talk about Sean Miller has been waiting in the wings for 2 years. Boom, got Xavier. Bruce Weber is now out of a job. He can get an opportunity anywhere he wants. He's a Final Four coach, national championship coach, right? I'm just thinking, like, and I say this every show, we don't know anything about anything. We have no idea how on April 15th, we will be able to revisit this conversation. And the NCAA basketball landscape is going to look completely different for head coaches.
Yeah.
It looks so different. And we can go by conference by conference. Big Ten will probably steadily be the same. The biggest change there will be Maryland, right? Maryland is switching up, right? ACC, new coach at Louisville, Kenny Payne, black guy, played at Louisville, legend. Was coaching with the Knicks the last couple years, right? That's a big hire for Louisville. Duke's going to be on John Shire. Miami has signed an extension with their coach at Miami, which is a big surprise to a lot of people. But we don't know. You know what I mean? This is a big change. Right. It's a huge change.
And Miami just beat Baylor, right?
And Miami just beat Baylor. So, yes. What you don't understand is when you've been in the ACC, a lot of people were very surprised they extended him. But I told people, I said, when you're in a place like Miami is an interesting college basketball school because they never win big, but they win, right? And they do it just enough to keep people coming to the games. But when you live in Miami, do you really care about a national championship? Think about it. If you've ever been and played at Miami, it's a completely different vibe than somewhere like a Duke, right? Or a Kentucky. When you go play at Kentucky at Rupp Arena, if you go play at Louisville at Yum Center, you know that those people are here and they're expecting the team on the court to go to the national championship.
Yeah.
When you go to Miami, they want, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. As long as we're not last, right? As long as we're not terrible, right? As long as the games are fun, the players look fun. That's the energy of how Miami has always been. So when they extended him, I wasn't at all surprised. At all. So we will see. I'm very interested to see who fills South Carolina. That's a big job. And who they pick to fill that position. in combat and compliment to Dawn Staley. But, you know, everyone knows this, but throughout the tournament, jobs opened up left and right because St. Peter's, San Francisco, New Mexico State, you look at people like that who achieve things, they're trying to get the next best opportunity as well, right? Just like how the kids want to win, the kids want to make it to the NBA, college coaches are trying to get the next big opportunity. Everybody wants to be Calipari. Everyone wants a lifelong deal like Bill Self. Everybody, why would you not? You could be, think about this, the St. Peter's coach could be 2 jobs away from being paid $4.5 million. New Mexico State coach just went from what his paycheck was in New Mexico State to SEC payroll. You know what I mean? So it can happen like that. So that's why from today, which we've already filled multiple positions, to April 5th, April 10th, we're going to see more jobs open and be filled like musical chairs.
Yeah. You know, the hardest thing for some of these programs, I look at them now, it's got to be hard to fill a job knowing that a guy may be in transition. You know, they're trying to get that job to get a better job.
Well, they got to do a good job, though, to get another job. So it's not a bad investment.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Well, if you look at it from another point of view, if I'm looking, okay, Schaefer Suggs, I'm an administrator. I'm assuming you want to be the next John Calipari, right? That's what or else what are you doing it for, right? Obviously for the kids. Yeah, we say that all the time. But every person has personal dreams and goals, right? So as a coach, you want to be able to coach at the highest level. You want to be able to coach in the NCAA tournament. You want to do all that stuff. So if I'm looking at it as a Ball State, that's a great example, administrator, which Xavier filled their position pretty fast. I want to say that. As I'm looking at a Ball State administrator, I'm looking, okay, this young guy, I might have to go young, and I have to keep taking a gamble and hoping that I grab somebody who can change the culture of our program and hopefully make it to the NCAA tournament, right? And if he makes the NCAA tournament, I hope that he tries to do it again, right? And when he does it twice, you're already now assuming, okay, I have to start thinking. But here's the thing. They put Ball State in a better position than when they came to it, right? So every time everybody's elevating, it's just like this, right? We're here. New coach comes in. We elevate. New coach leaves.
You elevate the program, right?
So that's just what it is. It is what it is. But there are no unfortunate events in these situations except for the college student athletes. But we might have to be used to now the ever-changing new team every year, every season.
With the portal.
With how coaches are moving and getting opportunities. And, I mean, honestly, college coaching is a lot more cutthroat than it ever has been.
Yeah.
You can get fired after 2 years, right? Because if you're Ball State, I'm firing you after 2 years. I have to try again. You know what I mean? I have to try again. If I don't see that you have it, I have to fire you. I have to try again because I have to continuously try to find a way to put Ball State on the map for college basketball. I have to do what that man did for St. Peter's. So it's I'm telling you, April 5th, once that national championship buzzer. Well, I said 15th because I don't know how long we'll have the show, but I'm saying like after that. But I'm saying April 5th because we're talking about right after that last buzzer at the Final Four.
Okay.
Right? People go home, administrators, because think about it, for the Final Four, head coaches, assistant coaches, ADs, everybody goes to the Final Four to network. So when you come home off that, we're going to see a completely different dynamic.
Right.
But awesome stuff. Welcome everyone back. We appreciate you guys for joining us this Monday and kicking off a wonderful show of Faith Family Focus. Of course, we want to thank our platforms, Facebook, Apple TV, Roku, and of course, out of Phoenix, Arizona, E360 TV. Again, this is Faith Family Focus. We're going to use our faith as a vehicle to help heal and sustain others and strengthen their own family core. And of course, the close of the show this Monday, our wonderful slogan.
Let go, let God, let go, let faith, let go, let love.
Everyone have a wonderful week. We'll see you guys soon.